maybe you have to make some adjustments to your life. But it's in those making those adjustments that not only you start to value the experiences, because once you're on the other side, you can say that, you know what, if I hadn't been through this experience, I wouldn't be the best version of myself. If I hadn't had to make these sacrifices on my own with just me and God, then I wouldn't appreciate where I am now. What's going on, world, and welcome back to the Pursuit of the Good Life podcast, your favorite personal development podcast. I am your host, the Kameron Lovelace, joined as always by the opinionated Dr. Sara Lee Benson. Sara, what's going on?
Why I gotta be opinionated? I am doing good, man.
Because of the topic that we have today.
I am doing good. I'm doing great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great
Mm-hmm.
week going on. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I just realized that we have been literally under quarantine for going on 6 months. I think like next week it'll be officially like 6 months since spring break happened. So it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, every time I go out now, I have to wear a mask. You know, I got to constantly make sure my hands are being washed, make sure I'm not touching stuff too much, making sure, okay, where's the hand sanitizer? Where's the hand sanitizer? You know what I'm saying? So it's a bit crazy to me. Like I looked up today and thought about that, was like, wow, like we really been going through a whole pandemic for over half a year now.
We have. And you know, it's so crazy now that you talk about it. I just remember like our earlier podcast, leading up to like the shutdown and just kind of how we was like, you know, what's really going on? What's up with the toilet paper? What's all these things? And now, like, honestly, since we have been quarantined, it has really made me really just kind of evaluate life and really just kind of realize that some of the things we were doing before we shut down was really the most. Like thinking about, and I can give you an example. So, you know, like since we've been quarantined, all of the stores have like changed their hours. And so most stores close at 8:00, right? Which is a very reasonable time. But then it makes you think like, what about when it was like 24 hours? Or like how Walmart and Target had come out saying that they're going to let their employees be off on Thanksgiving. That is such a big deal.
Right.
As somebody who worked at Walmart during Thanksgiving a few years back when I was living in Tulsa, I worked overnight during law school. I'm sorry. It's crazy. Like you don't get to spend time with your family. You don't get to enjoy Thanksgiving because you have to be at work. But now it's like I feel like even though we have been in a pandemic and certain things have happened, I feel like we have been given a break to kind of enjoy life a little bit more. It makes you slow down. Like you really and truly have to slow down because you can't really go out as much. People are going out in nature, being at the park. We're being more proactive and, you know, the time that we spend with people, we're becoming more connected to other people. Because before you could just kick it and, you know, do whatever. And so, but you still have the people who have not taken it seriously, which is why we're still in a pandemic 6 months down the line. We still in the first wave. We ain't even hit the second wave. And the rest of the world is like going back to more normal things. And we're still trying to get people to wear a mask. You know, we still trying to get people to.
I think there's more consensus to wear a mask. Well, let me say it in our neck of the woods. Let me not speak for the rest of the United States. But in our neck of the woods, people seem to be having some sort of mask or facial covering, you know,
Tennessee
to go handle their business. Yes.
Come over to cross state line where I kid you not. We decided to go. So we decided for my brother, my dad's birthday was Sunday. And
Mm-hmm.
so my baby brother, he always complains about we don't really celebrate him because of my daddy. So, right, I know he's always
Jealous.
like that. I mean, it has to suck to have your birthday on like his 16th and my dad's 50th were like on the same day. So it's like it kind
Oh.
of sucks to have like milestone birthdays with like your dad. So for his birthday this year, my parents went to Biloxi. And so I told my baby brother, I was like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, I want to celebrate you. I want to do something. And he was like, I don't know. So I was like, well, we'll go eat. So we ended up going to this restaurant in South Haven. Brand new restaurant. It's really nice. Now the restaurant was they're doing everything they're supposed to do, right? So gotta have a mask, 6 feet apart, all that good stuff, right? The amount of people who walked in that restaurant without a mask. Because I sat there and then they let us they let us wait in there. Like in Texas, you can't sit in the restaurant. You have to sit in your car until they text you or buzz you to come into
Mm-hmm.
your table. I will say the restaurant did do every other table, which was good. So like every other table was available. But the amount
Right.
of people that walked in that building that did not have on a mask, it's like they walked in like it was nothing. And I'm like, y'all, we in the middle of a pandemic. Like,
What
we
pandemic?
already taking a risk being here, let alone yeah, I want to come here. But it's like that in a lot of stores, a lot of places in Mississippi. Um, I will say this, I did do something. I went to the nail shop Saturday. It's my first time going to get my nails done in
They
6
got
months.
the little plexiglass in front.
Yes. So the nail shop has the plexiglass. Like literally, like every 10 minutes, I felt like this little dude was walking up cleaning. Like I
Mm-hmm.
watched him. Like
Hey.
every 10 minutes, he's cleaning. This lady walked in. She had a little girl with her. Little girl, maybe 3. The little girl didn't have on a mask. The mom did.
Mm-hmm.
The worker was like, she got to put on a mask. And she was like, well, she doesn't like to. They was like, she got to put on a mask. You got to go.
Period.
And so mom was like, well, come on, baby, you got to put this mask on.
Right.
Because she was trying to say, well, she doesn't like the mask. And they was like, well, she got to put it on. Or she got to go. And so the lady put the mask on the baby. And the little girl kept it on. So now I'm like, well, if she going to keep
Yep.
it on, she
Yep.
can wear it out. But yeah, so hopefully the people will get it together so that we can spend the holidays with our friends and family.
Man, me and Spark had a conversation today. I think we just gonna call it because we had planned on bringing her parents here
Okay.
for
Oh yeah,
Christmas.
Christmas.
But
Yeah.
at the rate that the country is going, they act like if you travel from the US, you got the bubonic plague. So I'm just
Over
like,
in
you know
Jamaica.
what? Huh?
You talking about over in Jamaica?
I'm talking about Jamaica,
I mean,
Bahamas,
in Bahamas.
everywhere
Yeah.
else in the world except for I think Mexico.
Which I heard they probably finna shut us down too. Which I hate for the
So
people. That's the one place everybody's been able to
right.
vacation is in Mexico because it's the
So
only place that will let us come.
right. So I'm just like, you know, we might need to just call it a wrap and then just double down for next year. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see how that goes. Not to start off this podcast off a somber topic, but I just had to reflect. And I was like, dang, it's really been 6 months since we've been quarantined, which means we ain't did no in-person podcast for like 6 months.
Yeah, I haven't seen you. I have not seen you in person
Right,
since like March.
right. So
Like right before. Oh man, it was right before. It was either right after I came from my cruise or
it was
before.
like right after.
Right after was the last time I saw you. Which shout
Yeah.
out to me and my line sisters planning our cruise when we did. I think we're the last group of people who like went on cruises. They got to go travel before everything shut down. But I feel like one of my friends, and we can move on, was saying that she thinks they're gonna do another shutdown, which I was like, I don't think they're gonna do another like full shutdown because it was so crazy when they did and like people just lost their
I
mind.
I don't think they're gonna do another shutdown because if they do another shutdown, they have to get these checks out quickly, and
Yeah.
they are not getting these checks out quickly. So
Because it's an election year.
I mean, of course that is. That's always hanging out in the background. Which, if you listen to this, make sure you're registered to vote. And I would encourage you to vote early so you do not have to stand in line.
Unfortunately for me and my Mississippi listeners, there is no early voting for us, and we have to go to the polls.
On election day.
Well, okay, you can do absentee. I take that back. So if you are a Mississippi person and you want to vote early, you can do absentee, but you have to physically go to the courthouse and do it. And you have to do it, I think it's either a week or 2 weeks before election day. So you can do it. You'll have to fill out the paperwork, absentee, and another affidavit. And you have to physically go and turn it in. This isn't something that you can mail in. So that was before quarantine. Like you have to physically go to the courthouse to turn it in. Other than that, you'll be there. We'll be there November 3rd.
All right. Shout out to them. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the topic for today. So today's topic was inspired by somewhat current event that is happening in the media. For those of you who are hip hop heads, you may or may not know that Dr. Dre is going through divorce with his wife. Very sad. Of 24 years, Nicole Young. All right. They're going through a very public divorce right now. But the thing that's eye popping, because we normally wouldn't talk about this. The thing that is eye popping, really to me, is that she is asking for spousal support. Now, mind you, like, let's back it up. So they've been married for 24 years. I believe they got 4 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They got 4
children? They got 5 kids.
5 children. Are they all by her? Did she birth 5 kids?
They all have the last name Young. I'm not 100% sure on that fact because one is 38. So yeah, 2 of them can't be hers because unless they just was dating for 10 plus years.
Right. So 2 of them, no. How old are the other 3?
38, 37, 29, 23, and 19.
I want to say the 23 and maybe the last 2.
Maybe the last 3.
Maybe the last 3 are hers.
Well, nevertheless, all the kids are over the age of 18.
Okay.
And 3 of the 5 are grown, 29 and up.
Okay.
So they are age or if not older. So, like I said, the thing that is eye-popping about this is that she is requesting $2 million a month in spousal support. Now, the reason why I started off by saying Sarah's very opinionated about this is because Sarah strongly believes that she deserves everything that she could ask for. I disagree with that. But whether you are on this side of the field or the other side, I just had to just point out, it's like, bro, when do like people have a tendency to depend on others like so much and not like make a move, and not necessarily in the and I'm not saying specific in this instance is divorce, because you can have whatever opinion you want, but people have a tendency to not make moves on their own strictly because they're depending on other people. And my thing is, when are you going to be your own savior? And I'm not talking about Jesus. Like, Jesus will forever be my savior. But when am I going to take ownership and say, okay, I need to go make some more money, so I need to either start a business or I need to get a second job or I need to go find some extra income of my own? When am I going to say, okay, I'm hurt mentally, emotionally, I got issues. I am going to I'm going to stop blaming the people that hurt me, and I'm going to go enroll myself in therapy. You know what I'm saying? I am healthy. I am unhealthy. I have high blood pressure. I have heart disease. I have this. When am I going to take ownership and say, you know what? I'm going to start making healthy decisions. I'm going to exercise regularly. I'm going to fix my diet. I'm going to take my insulin shots. I'm going to do what I need to do. When am I going to get to the point to where, you know what? It's on me, and it's on me to do the things that I want to do and then do things that I need to do to get the result that I need. And it kind of gets me when people are very like dependent upon other people. And
but wouldn't it be a different situation though? like
Hmm?
kind of different from. I said, wouldn't this like this Dr. Trey and Nicole? Wouldn't this situation be a little bit different from the examples that you gave? And the reason why I say that is so when you get married, there is a level of dependence that comes. So it's like you're interdependent upon each other. I think that's the word I want to use. So it's like when you get married, like he's depending on her, she's depending on him. And so they're both giving to the situation in whatever way that they give. And so we all know that it's different ways of giving, it's different ways of depending on the person. So it could be that although she didn't have the billions of dollars that he eventually got, because when she got him, he wasn't $1 billion Dre
Right.
when they
This
met.
is true.
Right. He wasn't $1 billion Dre. He was just got off of death row, maybe still at death row, figuring it out, Dre, right?
Hmm.
So who's to say that when they met, she wasn't the primary breadwinner, right? Like, who's to say that she wasn't at that point putting more into it financially, and maybe he was more on the spiritual mental side, and maybe she's on the physical side. But as they grew, it's 24 years of marriage.
Hmm.
He became $1 billion Dre, right? He
Hmm.
became Beat by Dre, right? He became all of these things. And so who's to say that she was just solely like dependent upon him and he wasn't depending on her as well? Like, I think this situation is a little bit different because I feel like after 24 years, 3 kids,
Hmm.
I didn't know she had 3 kids. That even adds more to it because that's 3 times of putting your body through a lot to bring life into this world. And on top of that, being the emotional support, being this, all of these different roles that she's had to play. I don't see this situation as, well, she was just solely dependent upon him and now she need to go out there and get a job or something. I see it as these are two people who was married. Excuse me. These are two people who were married. There was some sort of agreement, some sort of something that had taken place at some point. And now they've decided not to be married. And I feel like she deserved everything she wanted to get. Because, we don't know what he was behind closed doors. We don't know what this lady had to deal with. We don't know any of those things. And she has a lifestyle that she's grown accustomed to. So I believe that, yes, we should, take care of ourselves, and we should, try to be the best that we can be. But I also believe that in this situation, specifically with them, uh, I don't think it's absurd that she's asking for this amount of money for spousal support. I don't think it is. Because, like I said, we don't know the full gist of the story. We don't know what she's put into this. She might be the one who bought the first Beats by Dre or bought the design for it or the patent for it. You know what
Sarah,
I
stop
mean?
it. Sarah, stop it. Sarah, stop it.
I'm just saying.
I'd have let you talk. I didn't let you say some commonplace things, but that right there, now stop it.
No, that's not it. I mean, what I'm saying, I'm just saying, use it as an example as after 24 years of marriage, we really don't know the deep impact that she's had here and that she's had in his life, that she's had in their family's life. We don't know. We really don't know the roles or things that were played. And so I don't think it's absurd for her to ask for that amount of money. I mean, he got $1 billion. He's $1 billion Drake. Like, I'm pretty sure he can afford $2 million a month for her. And it's probably won't even put a dent in the amount of money that he got.
And here's my thing. Well, here's number one. This situation is not the normal
Right. It's
situation
not
here,
right.
because like if we talking about people who are middle, hell, lower, middle, and upper class, and you talking about a situation where it's like this, yes, I get that. Of course, the wife traditionally, take care of the kids, and if this is like that type of situation where the husband goes out and works so that he can take care of the kids, they built something together, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't that though. This is like this ain't that, because this is a person who is very, very affluent and has been affluent for quite some time. Because even
He's a
when I think,
right?
yes, because I'm pretty sure like when NWA, like even like when NWA took off, like I'm pretty sure like they were like more than financially taken care of. It's when
No,
like, huh?
you don't know the story. So the only person who when NWA came on the scene and took off, the only person who was really like making money was Easy E and their manager. Like Dre and them, like basically got scraps. So that's why he
Gotcha.
really left and
Right,
with the
but
debt
I'm saying
club with the
I'm saying
setup.
like they built, but I'm saying like they built the brand of NWA together though,
You
so
talking about the
that they
group?
could, yes, like the group together, so that when he and Q did leave, they were able to stand up on their own. They said, you know what, I'm gonna take ownership of my own self. You ain't treating me right no more. I'm saying we supposed to be making this money together. We supposed to be building this together, and you ain't treating me right. So I can't depend on you no more. So I'm gonna save myself because I got kids coming up. I got a wife at home. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go do my thing because I know I'm talented and I know I have gifts. I know I have things to go out and do into the world. But in this type of situation, I mean, I get, of course, there are situations where the woman, of course, will handle the foundation so that when you do
Right.
take off, I get all that. But after 24 years, you mean to tell me that it's out of question for me to just give you a check for 300 million, 400 million, and you go your way and I go my way? You took care of my kids already very well.
It probably
You
still
you
taking
you've
care.
held it down when I worked with the countless producers. You held down the fort, you held down the kids. I respect all that. But you telling me I can't just write you a check? Like I gotta continuously write you a check. And then the TMZ breakdown that don't make it better.
But we don't know if that's true. I don't.
I'm gonna
We
let
don't.
y'all I'm gonna let y'all look that up. But the
We
breakdown
don't
of it is
know.
like
I feel
ridiculous.
like I feel like regardless of if he's writing one check or a check each month, like I still agree that if this is the person she's been with for 24 years, this is the life they've been leading for 24 years, and he's taking care of her for this long and just all of those things, I don't see anything wrong with him continuing that support. Now, if she meets somebody and gets remarried, then I can say, okay, he doesn't need to do anything because she's remarried, she's with somebody else. But
Let me tell you something. She finna live her best life. She
right,
gon'
because
she
she's been
gon' go date whoever she wants, sleep with whoever she want, go wherever she want, buy as much clothes as
rightfully
she want.
so.
She gonna do it, and she has every right to do that.
Right.
But I personally just don't believe that he should be footing the bill for that. Like
I think he should.
if you are mutually, I've been taking care of you, doing whatever you want, like I'm letting you get whatever you want, all that good stuff. And outside of the house, because I get you may not want to move, you may not want to do all the things,
Mm-hmm.
but when you guys are mutually deciding to end your lives together,
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point you should just, okay, I'm gonna give you your just due. Here's matter of fact, you could even say here's your percentage of the company. Here you got equity. Here we can you got equity because this is how much your percentage is worth. Here here's your piece of the pie for helping me build this, for helping me make that $1 billion deal with Apple. Like
So,
here's your just due. Go forth and be great.
so
You telling me she couldn't say, you know what, after 24 years, going all over the world, raising five plus five, three kids for sure, maybe five kids, I can't go out and do my own thing
but
without
who's to
you?
say she's not trying to do that? Like, who's to say this 2 million a month isn't her just due? Like, what if that's her just due? Because to be honest, I'm be real with you. If I was married to him after 24 years and we're getting divorced, after all the stuff that we've heard about, after all the stuff we know about him, I'd have been asking for way more than $2 million a month. This is gonna be real with you. It'd have been way more than that. So who's to say that this $2 million isn't her just due? Maybe this is her just due. Maybe this is like, you know what? I'm gonna just take this $2 million and I'm gonna go about my business. And maybe she's gonna take this money to start her own thing. Maybe that's what she's gonna use it for. Maybe this is her just due. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'd ask for way more. I'd ask for way more than two
Look,
million.
like I said, I have no issue with just cutting a check. Here's your check. Here's your equity in the company. Go forth and do your own thing. You do your thing, and I'm gonna do mine. If it don't have nothing to do with the kids, I don't need to talk with you. And
Right.
and I have to say that I come from that perspective because of my own personal experience with divorce in my parents. Because when my folks got divorced, like my mom didn't ask my dad for anything. Like, here, you can. I was 16 at the time. Like 2 years of child support. Okay, you can do child support to help out, with bills and stuff. But after that, nah, I don't need you no more. I had my mom had her own PhD. She had experience running a business. She had extra income on top of her main hustle coming out. She knew how to take ownership and say, you know what, I'm gonna make this work. Like without the stress, the headache of dealing with her ex. And so that's why my viewpoint of this, and really like this topic of being your own hero, is that you have everything within you to go
Right.
out and make something happen. And obviously I'm not talking about no kids, nobody that is not grown. I'm talking about if you grown, you have everything within you. You got the internet, which is an abundance of information that you can go figure out how to start something. You can go back and go to school at a community college, make it work. You can get help from your family. You can get help from nonprofit organizations. Like at some point, we as human beings have to be empowered and go out and take ownership of our life and save ourselves. Because here's the thing, because here's the thing, nobody's gonna take care of you like you can take care of you. Nobody.
I agree with you. I was gonna say maybe this whole divorce is her making that decision. Maybe this is her saying, you know what, I spent the last 24 years of my life here. It's not working. And instead of staying in a situation that's not going to benefit me or it's not going to help me grow, maybe this is her decision to go. But also while she's leaving, she still wants to be able to keep up the lifestyle that she had, because I believe that's something she worked for, because she put in 24 years. And so maybe she's going to take this money and go do something. Maybe she's going to go back to school. Maybe she's going to start a business. Maybe she's going to do something. That's how I kind of view this, as maybe this was her decision to be like, you know what, it's time for me to do something for myself. Like, I've spent 24 years here. I've raised pretty much 5 kids, because even though she probably didn't birth the first 2, I'm pretty sure those children were in their lives. She's probably given, if anything, she's probably given of herself for the last 24 years. She's given herself in marriage. She's given herself to the children. She's literally like probably built her life around this person, which is totally fine. I mean, she was there. She's been there since he got out of NWA. You know what I mean? Like, she's been there, because they dated for a while, I think, before they ended up getting married. So even before they even got married, they were dating. Maybe this is her time to go do that. Maybe she recognizes, you know what, I need to go on. I need to do this. Yeah, maybe this is her time.
I hear you on that piece, but I can't write that off, because that I don't want people to misinterpret the piece of, you know what, I want to do this, but I have to maintain my lifestyle. I want to do this, but I have to make sure. No. Hold on. I ain't cut you off, so let me talk here now. You listen here, Dr. Benson. But I don't want people to look at their experience and say, you know what, I have to depend on this person because I want my lifestyle to be this way. I have to depend on this because it's going to make me uncomfortable. I have to depend on these other people, whether it be parents, whether it be a spouse, whether it be, your friends, whether it be, whoever it is that these people are dependent on. It's going to inconvenience you automatically to not depend on this person anymore, like off the rip. But that is still not an excuse to hold yourself back to go forth and take ownership of your own life. It's going to be going through the uncomfortable phase is a part of the process. Let me tell you something. As a married man, like leaving and cleaving, that process ain't always smooth.
Right.
Like leaving and cleaving from your family, picking your spouse over your family when like really tough times come, like that transition is not always smooth for everybody. Now for me, it has been, but that's because my family knows like that, like the principle of leaving and cleaving. So when we take ownership of our own life, it is going to be uncomfortable, but it is through the uncomfort that you experience growth and that you experience that never say die mentality. Like I'm going to go out and take the blows and go out and get my hustle on and get my grind on, build my businesses, build that. And I just don't believe that people should use that as an excuse. I'm not saying that whatever her situation is, that's her situation. But for the commonplace people,
right.
do not use that as an excuse to hold yourself back. Like, do not use that comfortable. I want to be comfortable. Like, nah. Maybe you have to go sit. Maybe you have to go to a studio apartment for a little bit while you get back and go to school. Maybe you have to go back to school. Maybe you have to make some adjustments to your life. But it's in those making those adjustments that not only you start to value the experiences, because once you're on the other side, you can say that, you know what, if I hadn't been through this experience, I wouldn't be the best version of myself. If I hadn't had to make these sacrifices on my own with just me and God, then I wouldn't appreciate where I am now. I wouldn't learn the different skills, the lessons, everything that I need to learn now. And so I can't, like, I hear you, Sarah, like this might be her just due. But
right.
I cannot write off for the commonplace, because everybody listening to this ain't Nicole Young.
Right. I agree.
And for those people listening to this, I have to say that you guys have to not be afraid of that uncomfort. Don't be afraid of the difference. Don't be afraid of the change. Don't be afraid of what's the unknown. Don't be afraid of that, because it's going through that's going to make you stronger.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree, like, for everybody else, I agree. And I think this is a very extreme case. This is completely different. I mean, the only other case that I could think of as
extremely
extreme is the guy who owns Amazon. Him and his wife.
Bezos.
You know, his wife got out like billions of dollars in the divorce.
Oh yeah, she got her billion and Kevin Push.
Right, she got money. So, like, people like that are the only ones I can think of that some of these things will fit to. But no, I agree with you that we shouldn't allow being uncomfortable stop us from going and reaching our dreams. And like I said before, this could be her just due. Oh no, this might be her opening a new chapter in her life, which it is a new chapter because divorce is a new thing. Like, it's a new everything across the board. And this is like the only thing she's known for 24 years. You know, so it is going to take time for her to figure it out. But I just still stand on the fact that I think she still get her money. And this is probably her just due.
Even though I vehemently disagree. I have to always caveat this with, regardless of if it's been 20, almost 25 years, 50 years, 5 years, however long it's been, if you are in a position to where you are not old, decrepit, disabled, any of the point where you physically cannot go out and do something, do not be afraid to go out and make something happen on your own. Because, like, all right, off Dr. Dre and his ex-wife. We ain't talking about that. We talking about you, the commonplace woman, you, the commonplace man, who has been so dependent upon your parents, who's been so dependent upon another person. Like, do you not realize that your destiny literally lives and dies with this person? Like, quite literally. I am not comfortable with giving a person that much power over my life.
I agree.
And that much control over my life. If something happens to this person, then I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Like I can't. I can't sleep well at night doing that. I got people counting on me. Mm-hmm. I'm counting on Sparkle to produce. Sparkle counting on me to produce. I can't come here and say, sorry, like they didn't do what they need to do. Like, okay, bro, you need to go out and make something happen. Like, period. And so I for the people who are listening to this, you have to like, you have to start with, okay, you have to make a decision to take ownership. Like, you got to look at it. Going back to It Is What It Is, our podcast a couple of weeks ago, you have to acknowledge that the circumstances of your life are what they are. Now it's time to say, okay, now it's time to make this change. I'm finna make this switch. And I'm finna do, okay, what needs to be done? Okay, boom, do this. All right, boom, do that. Okay, boom, do this. All right, make the list first and then start going after the list. Like, it's not hard. It can be scary though.
Yeah, it can. I was gonna say that I actually lived that, I've talked on this podcast before about my experience with my ex, how I made decisions based off of him. Mm-hmm. Ended up in Tulsa, and we were broken up 2 months after that. And I was in a literal physical location where I had nothing and nobody. Yep. And I had to figure it out, and it was very uncomfortable, because you do have to come to a place where you have to make a decision. Do you stay in this space with this person and be miserable, or do you face the unknown? And the unknown is scary. I think a lot of people are afraid of the unknown, honestly. Absolutely. I think that, which is the reason why they kind of stay in certain places. They stay in these dependable positions, because at least, I know for me, one of the thoughts I had before I had got to a place where I was ready to break up with him was that at least I have somebody, or at least he's helping me, or at least he's doing this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, those were the excuses that I would play in my head after every argument, every time he was, verbally abusive. Like, those were the things that I would say, well, at least I have somebody, or at least he's here, or when I move, at least I know somebody here. Not really realizing that I was afraid of the unknown. I was afraid of the what if, but you have to get to a place where your desire to be better outweighs the fear of the unknown.
You have to. You have to, in order for you to truly grow and blossom and be all that you can be. That part of your process has to happen.
I agree. You just got to take that leap. You got to take that leap of faith and just believe that it's going to turn out better than what you already got.
Right. But that and I think that is a huge piece of it as well. The piece that, well, like we start playing like things in our minds. We start telling ourselves, like you said, oh, well, at least I got somebody. Oh, well, I'm good where I'm at. Oh, it's not so bad. Like, we start to tell ourselves, my mind starts playing tricks on me. But nah, you need to listen. If you're going through this right now, I want you to go out to somewhere that's a neutral spot, whether it's a park, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's whatever, and really take stock of your situation. Like, look at it in black and white and really see, like, what is going on here? And is this going in the direction that I want it to go into?
Yeah.
And once you realize that it's not, and once you realize that, you know what, you got to realize your part in this, because that's really the only part that you can't control. And in any relationship, any business transaction, anything that you got going on, you literally, I'm not Professor X. I can't control this other person. So you can only take stock, and you can only take an interest in what you are bringing to the situation, and if you are choosing to continue it or not. Like, even like among the other things that we talked about on this podcast episodes, you know, when we're talking about business, when we're talking about working with family, when we're talking about being in a relationship, you have to own up to your own part of the situation. And if that part of your situation is not able to stand on their own leg, is completely dependent on this, then my friend, you have a problem. And only you can fix it.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
But man, and I don't know, I don't really understand. And this is really mind-boggling to me. I mean, obviously, person by person, when I have a client in front of me and he or she is walking through what has got them to this point, I get it. But as a whole, I don't get it.
Get what part?
I don't get where people start to just depend on like other people like that, where they start to look at it from a perspective of, you know what, I cannot leave this bad situation because I need this person who is very toxic or involved me in my life.
It's not something that happens it's something that's like a gradual thing. So it's not something that just happens overnight where you meet somebody or you meet people like, you know what, I got to depend on them. Like, honestly and truthfully, like, it's really something that happens gradually. And majority of the time, the person who's the provider, in a sense, it becomes a power thing for them. So it's like they feel like, okay, I got to provide for this person, so this person's going to listen to me. And so it literally becomes this dynamic where the person who's having to depend on the other person really and truly gets in this mindset or this mind frame that, you know, this is it. You know, there's no telling what the other person has said or how they have treated that person. And I can only speak from my experience that it became something that was very gradual, something that I know when we first started talking, I was a very independent person, a very free thinker person. Like, you couldn't have told me anything that, you know, I was going to do it by myself. Right. And so, but as we got together and as we would do things, he would begin to show up in certain places. And so it became like, oh, okay, I can depend on you. Like, you'll show up here, or you'll help me here. But then it got to a place to where it was almost as if him being there or him providing also came with the bad things. And it was almost as if he justified the bad for him being the provider. And so a lot of these times people find themselves in these situations where you do kind of shut off everybody else, right? So I did, like, some of the people who I was friends with, I distanced myself from them because that person didn't like them, right? So anybody who would have been contrary to what he was saying, he made sure I got rid of them. So it's like I'm literally being surrounded and just literally being just bombarded with just this person. And so it becomes a gradual thing. It's not something that happens overnight, but like when you're in those type of situations, you just have to get to a place in a position where the hope of better or knowing that better is out there begins to outweigh the fear you're feeling. Yeah. Because I know for me, the thought will come across my mind, but I was in such a bad mental space that I really and truly thought that was it. You know, I really truly thought that, but it wasn't. But, you know, of course I got out of it, but I'm pretty sure for other people, it's a gradual process as well.
it sounds like your environment was slowly but surely 100% controlled by this person.
Yeah. And it was small things. Like, it wasn't nothing that was like, oh, you can't talk to this person, or oh, you can't do this. It would be in like conversations like, oh, well, I really don't like certain things. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just won't do that. And I'm free willing making this decision, not thinking like that's controlling, right? I'm like, oh, I just won't do that. Or oh, I just won't say that. Or I won't go to that place. Or I won't talk to this person. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that person is like this. Yeah, that person is like that, right? Not really realizing that it was like a slow and gradual control thing.
Right.
And that happens to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people get in those type of situations and don't even realize it.
I was about to say, I can very easily see that happening to a child and a parent.
Yeah.
Like,
because
when you have a grown adult male or female that's constantly listening to their mother or father and
mm-hmm.
will not make a single move for themselves.
Yeah. Because you get to this place where you want to please that person, right? Mm-hmm. And then don't get me started on the type of situations where people will use their religion, to be that influence. Like, well, if you don't listen to me, you're going to go against God, right? And unless you have experienced God for yourself or have like your own relationship, you'll really begin to believe that, oh my God, I have to listen to this person, or I have to do this a certain way, or God is not going to be pleased with me. And people get like, we can go down a rabbit hole.
When are you going to start listening to God for yourself instead of depending on the pastor or the preacher or whatever person of leadership to tell you what God is telling you to do with your life?
I know plenty of people. I know plenty of people to this day. There are a bunch of women out here who are single because they are waiting for somebody, pastor, preacher, whoever, to be like, oh, that's the one. Or maybe they'll bring this person thinking, they'll be like, oh, no, that's the one. Oh, no, not this person, not this person. Not really realizing that the Lord will tell you too, like, what to do.
There's a place for the pastor to speak to the herd. There's a place where sometimes the prophet will speak to the sheep directly. Mm-hmm. However, you can speak to God for yourself.
I agree.
You can read your Bible yourself. You can listen. You can pray yourself. You can praise. You don't need the praise team to go up and worship. You don't need somebody else to get and experience God with the Holy Spirit, with Jesus. You don't have to go through another person, another human being to get to God. And so that's why I'm telling you, you don't need this other person to get to your blessing. You don't. Now, if that person is rocking with you and they're willing to help you get the blessing, all right, cool, I'm all for it. But you do not need this person. You do not need this person to hand you your blessing. And when it gets to that point, that's when you have a problem. Like, when it gets to the point where when this person literally has a hold over you, like literally you're holding back your own self because of this person. See, I didn't got mad. You literally holding yourself back. You are literally holding yourself hostage. You giving them the key to your shackles.
Yeah. And I think people realize how you can literally put yourself in bondage in these type of situations. I don't think people realize that, because honestly, like, they really and truly believe that this is the person that God sent here. I need to listen to this person. This person hears, this person knows. Not even realizing that you can hear and know too. And, and people will go against what God tells them because it might be something different than what this person is saying.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, but it's a gradual.
But I think it strongly takes a great appreciation of yourself.
Yeah.
In self, I don't know, self-efficacy, self-affirmation, one of those self words. I can't think of it right now.
Self-awareness, really. It's just self-awareness and self-belief. So believing in yourself and believing that you are fully capable and able to make the right decisions, and fully capable and able to live your own life, and fully capable and able to be the best person that you can be, without having to constantly go get reassurance from certain people. Like it
And
really
even if it doesn't work out right, it's gonna be all right.
is gonna be all right. And
I'm
you have to
still
believe
gonna.
that.
Mhm.
Because I promise you there are people out here who will tell you some things about yourself and you're like, wait a minute, God didn't tell me that. Like I don't believe the Lord said that, you know? And because I can think of some situations I've been in personally where I'm like, I ain't hear that. That ain't what the Lord
Mm.
said. That ain't what the Lord said. You know,
Mhm.
and there's some people out here that will be like, you know what, I'm just gonna ride along with it. I'm just going along, and not really realizing that we can make idols out of people and not really realize that. Like when you get to
Absolutely.
the place where you are more concerned with what another person has to say about your life than what God has to say, that's a
Mhm.
problem. That's a problem. But I don't think we get, I think it's something that's so like subtle that people will miss that that's a problem.
Right. And that's why you gotta constantly you gotta constantly be in environments like this, like environments where you're constantly building yourself, where you're around people who want the best for you and will tell you when something's like something ain't right. I ain't telling you what to do, but I don't know if this is a good look for you based on what you're saying that you want for yourself.
I agree.
It's so vital to be in that. And I mean that goes back to what you were saying, is that he essentially said, nah, they're not good for you, they're this, they're that, I'm not comfortable, or maybe he said something, I'm not comfortable with you hanging out with
Mm-hmm.
them anymore. I think they're not good people, or they're not people I want you to hang around, or things like that. And he literally is controlling the environment, the thoughts, the emotions of the entire person. And if you have somebody in your life that is doing that to you, on behalf of everybody who has escaped, I'm telling you, run, run away,
You need to let it
and
go.
and go make your version of the good life in the best way that you know how. And it might be rough. You might go through a time where you have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It might be scary. It might even be horrible for a time. But I guarantee you it's better than where you're at, because you get to decide what your life looks like. You get
Okay.
to decide what you're going to do with your life. You get to decide how high you jump, how fast you run, and you ain't got to depend on somebody else to tell you what to do with your life.
I agree. I wholly agree.
Gotta start looking for that and stop looking for those handouts. Which is why, me personally, I just have to say, I gotta say it. I had to stop waiting on these stimulus check.
Oh,
This
sure.
second, this second
I
stimulus
used
check,
my first stimulus check. I used to pay the IRS back.
you did pay the IRS back, but
I
they
did.
they they've been saying the second one's been coming for 3, 4, 5 months now.
Oh, that check ain't coming until after this election.
So, like, listen to me. The check, don't stop waiting on the check.
No,
Go out and stimulate your own bank account with an idea, with a
do what you
business, with a partnership,
do.
with
What
extra income. So we
I
we
agree.
have we have to take ownership. We have to save ourselves. I'm picturing like a sermon series that I
You do.
feel like I've heard in the past, like that was based on that topic. Basically, we got to save ourselves and stop depending on others. But we have to do what is best for ourselves. And if that means, you know what, I'm gonna get out and I'm not gonna take this $2 million. I'm gonna go make my own $2 million. I'm gonna make my own 2 million. Then I'm gonna go do that, Sarah,
Or you could just take the 2 million.
without Dr. Dre's signature on it.
Child, that stuff is gonna go straight through them lures. She
Oh,
ain't gonna have to do it.
oh yeah, for sure. She gonna have to pay the lawyer fee back. But I am still wondering, does this mean that he initiated the divorce?
Who?
Dr. Dre? Because I mean, if you really don't want nothing to do with nobody, you're not trying to take nothing from them. Maybe that's just me because I ain't
I
trying
think
to
that
get
should be
divorced.
you. Let me tell you something. These women, every woman, like these last few years of these divorces with these high powered divorces with these men who get all this money, these ladies been getting their money. Like, look at the Amazon lady. Her husband was straight cheating on her. And she came out with a couple billion. Like, a lot of these
Hey,
people come out with
that's
like money. Like, regardless of if they don't want to fool with them no more, they getting their money. Especially the ones
that's
that have a lot of money.
well,
They
I guess in that case, it doesn't matter who initiates it. Because I was saying that if he said, I don't want to be married to you no more, and she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that money then. I'm
mm-hmm.
gonna need that portion of beats that you got from Apple. Yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit of that.
I mean, I think that's why a lot of like high powered couples, not saying a lot of them, but I think that some of them want some of the reasons why they do stay married is because they probably didn't have a prenuptial agreement before they got married and they probably came into their money. And it's like, it's probably going to be cheaper to literally keep her here. And so, like, a lot of these people do stay together because it's probably would cost them way more money if they got a divorce because they know the wife is going to take it. Especially, I think California is a community state. It's a community property state too. So there's so many like layers to this. I personally don't think it matters who initiated the divorce in some of these cases. I think that sometimes the women do. Because think about Tiger Woods and his ex-wife. Tiger came out. You know, it came out when he was messing with all the women. He messed with multiple women. Like, it was bad, bad.
Talking about
And
Tiger the rapper.
no, Tiger Woods, the golf player.
Oh, oh,
Remember? Remember his?
yeah.
He
Yeah,
came out. He came out
he
that
just
he had
wasn't the
been
same
having like
after
all
that.
them affairs
My
and
guy
just all
Tiger
that
just
stuff.
was not the same.
She got a few million from that, and I think she initiated it and came out with a few million. I mean, also her kids, their
That's
kids were
true.
young as well, so that also played a factor into it. But like a lot of these people who are like these billionaires, millionaires, some of these women just be tired of the cheating and stuff, and so. But like I said, I don't know who initiated this. I do know if he is anything like Michelle said he was, 2 million is not enough.
Who
You know,
is
people
who is Michelet? Who is this?
know who Michelle is, the singer.
I have
Something in
no
my
idea
heart.
who that is.
Cam, she had a whole. So after Straight Outta Compton came out,
Mm-hmm.
um, she was missing. They didn't put her in the story, and she was actually one of like the budding factors of helping them NWA get their stuff. So like a lot of the songs back then, like the female singers, it was her. So she sang on Eazy-E's track, she sang on Tupac's track once Dre left. And so um she sang on one of Dre's other early groups that he had, the I think it's Two Live Wrecking Crew. I don't know if you ever heard of them. She sang on their track. She was his girlfriend, but he was beating on her. Like
Mm.
literally beating the living daylights out of her. And so she's actually the mother of one of his kids.
Mm.
And so she also, in a weird twist of events, dated Suge Knight too. Like Suge came to her rescue. So like Dre, before he met Nicole, according to her storyline, before he left her, um, he had left her in the house and had the lights cut off. So she had no lights, she had no food or nothing, and she has his baby. And so Suge apparently came and brought food and like paid their light bill because he had just stopped paying the light bill. Like he was just dirty to this girl, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's how her and Suge Knight ended up getting together. But that's what I'm saying. Like if he was in it, which people change, people do different stuff with different people. So I'm not saying he did that to Nicole. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is if he did, $2 million is not enough. That's just what I'm saying. But I don't know. I don't know if he treated her. I mean, clearly he didn't treat her like he treated Michelle because he never married her. Never married this other girl.
That's true.
But he married Nicole. And so like in NWA in Straight Outta Compton, you don't see her at all. Which everybody that went to see the movie, there was like this big deal. That was like, where is she? Like she was a major part of, especially when Death Row came about, like she was a major part of that. And she wasn't in the story. So she did her own. It came on Lifetime. So
interesting.
But yeah, she, like, if you listen to a lot of his early tracks, a lot of the music out back then, it's her voice that you hear. Like
female vocalist.
She's their female vocalist. That's what she did. So like I can think of a couple of songs. So like her most popular song is "Something in My Heart," which is her. Mm-hmm. And so like she was on a lot of their tracks back then. But you know, people change. I mean, even Eazy-E in his diss song to Dre and Suge, he talked about Dre beating her in his diss song. Like, he even talked about that. Like, it was like a known fact that Dre was whooping up on this girl. So.
Well, I hope my man changed. But obviously, if she getting beat on, then this obviously this conversation has a complete turn of events. However, me personally, I would be of the mindset, look, you give me my money, you ain't gonna never hear from me again. If it ain't about the kids, you ain't never gonna hear from me or give me. Like I said, give her smooth 300, 400, 500. Give her a 3, 4, 500 million, tax free, and let her live her best life. That's just my mindset. But that's my. If you can't make, maybe I'm just of the mindset that if you can't make 2 million stretch, come on now. Because you asking for 20, you essentially asked for 24 million a year.
Pretty much. I mean, who's to say? Because I'm pretty sure she's gonna get the house. She's probably gonna get the house, probably gonna get the cars. Like those are things that cost money. I mean, I don't know what this lady's expenses are. This lady probably have a whole bathtub full of diamonds. I don't know.
If I were to get 2 million a month for a year, I would go buy me some commercial real estate and get something off of everybody's little business. Man, you know how much I'll do? That's what I'm saying. Like how much? Like $24 million a year.
That's right.
And you can't flip that?
I mean, she's probably gonna flip it. Like,
yeah, I hope she got a financial advisor. You better all that money. You better pay somebody something to tell you how to spend it, because this ain't right.
I'm pretty sure she got a financial advisor. She probably got her own team of people at this point. Financial advisors, lawyers, all of that. I'm pretty sure she had to get her own to go through all of this. So,
if you made it this far into the podcast, please go to TMZ and look at this breakdown. It's quite ridiculous.
It's probably a lie. I'm not going to believe it.
TMZ got Kobe right.
And even if the breakdown was real, this is still probably her just due of what the lady needs.
Listen, obviously I say if she getting beat on, you know what? That's a different story. Mm-hmm. But if she hasn't, and this is like, you just want to maintain your lifestyle, you want to spend, you know what? I'm going to let y'all go to TMZ. Judge yourself. Judge your mama. Don't judge me. As people say on these social media streets.
Judge your mama. I agree. Don't judge the good sis trying to get her just due after dealing with this man for 24 years.
Big facts. But nevertheless, I hope you've enjoyed this very entertaining conversation on the Pursuit of the Good Life podcast. If you are in need of your own personal development, I highly encourage you to join the GLC, which is our Good Life community, where we have conversations like this all the time so that you can not have a controlled environment, but rather an empowering environment that we equip and encourage you with the tools that you need to go out and make your version of the good life. Sarah, is ACT University still open or has that closed?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I want to say they have until Friday. I want to say so. If
Friday
you
the 11th?
Friday, yeah, the 11th. If y'all are listening and you are trying to do ACT University, I want to say this Friday. Let me see if I can pull up a flyer right quick. I want to say that this Friday is the last day that you can register. Let me see. Here we go. So, looking at the flyer, of course, it wants to download quick, not quick. I gotta wait for it to download. I want to say this Friday might be the last day that you can register. I wish my Wi-Fi would go just a little bit faster so that I can
good. Take your time. Take time.
Talk about it. Okay, so yes, so registration ends this Friday at 3 p.m. And so you can go to purepowerfoundation.org/ACT-prep. And you can register. It is free. It does end this Friday, as in tomorrow, because this comes out Thursday, so the very next day. So as y'all are listening to this, it ends tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yep. So if you have somebody who is trying to go to college and is struggling with the ACT, and you ain't got the $500,000 for this uppity ACT courses that Kaplan be charging out the wazoo, honey, you can go to Pure Power for free, and go, and you ain't even got to go in person.
It's all virtual.
It's all virtual. Anywho, sure. With that being said, I say let's call it a wrap. But unless you got anything else, Sarah. Hold on, Sarah. How are things going with wedding planning? I know you a little over a year out.
It's actually going good. We next week I will be doing our official tour of the venue. Mm-hmm. Me and my mom, and I got to FaceTime Ken's mom in. I know, I'm good. You looking at it like, no, it's my sinuses, really.
I didn't know what was going on.
No, it's my sinuses. And I have this fan on. It automatically comes on. I have to turn it off. We're doing our first official tour next week, which is cool because me and my mom actually went to the venue like 2 weeks ago for this event. And we kind of got to see it a little bit. And I ended up talking to the lady who I've been emailing. And so I think they were excited. This is good to have your titles and stuff. So like when I'm out, I don't introduce myself as Dr. Sarah Benson unless I just feel the need to do that. I know it's crazy, right? Unless I just feel the need to do that.
Let me tell you something. No. Let me tell you something. You earned that PhD.
I did earn it.
So I will always address you as Dr. Benson, soon to be Dr. Loggins.
When I met the lady, I was like, "Oh, are you Miss Belinda?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, I've been emailing you. I'm Sarah Benson." And she was like, "Okay." So I'm still having a full conversation with her and this other lady, who's the hotel manager or something, and they're just going over all the things they can do. So I guess she must have went back and pulled up my email, because when we left, they were like, "All right, bye, Dr. Benson." I was like, "Okay, bye, y'all." Cool. And so Belinda has just been amazing getting us in. Like, she emailed me the next day and she was like, "Hey, it was good seeing you. I'm gonna go ahead and write up y'all a proposal. I just need to know your fiance's name." I was like, "Okay, girl, cool." So she wrote up a proposal, a really nice proposal that is under our budget. And it includes a cash bar. I gotta go back. I think it includes a cash bar. It's under our budget. It's actually what we're thinking. And so we're going to do the official walkthrough next week. Hopefully we'll be putting a deposit down for this. We paid our deposit for our photographer who's going to do our save the date pictures plus the wedding and all that stuff in the video. My cousin, shout out to him, which I need to text him tomorrow. Shout out to my cousin for giving me a good deal on a bunch of great stuff that he's going to do for me. It's coming. I'm saying all this to say it's coming together. I dedicate one day a week strictly for wedding stuff, just to kind of stay on top of it so that it doesn't just pile up on me. So yeah, it's going good.
I need to call Ken and see, because normally the groom got a whole different story than the bride.
He's cool. So like Ken is just like, just tell me what we need to do. And so that's what I've been doing. I've just been telling him like, hey, we're gonna do this. Or what do you think about this? And so like everything that I get, so like we share. So his task was to secure the photographer. And so we actually signed our contract today. And so he did that part. My task is to get the venue stuff together.
You want to make some money? Be a good wedding photographer. You will make some good money.
Good money. Real good money. So, and my cousin's giving us a really good deal on his services. Can't beat deal on his services. I'm not gonna say all that because y'all might want to use my cousin. He'll get that type of discount.
Let your cousin get this money.
What I'm saying is he ain't gonna do for y'all what he doing for me is what I'm saying. Oh. Right. That's what I'm saying. The deal that he's giving me is a family deal. But what my cousin is doing, he's going to DJ, do the photo booth, and do the audio for the wedding and uplighting for the reception. Which literally saves us almost like $4,000. A good $4,000 saved from my cousin. Like that photo booth alone is good too. By itself. It's a good 2,000.
Listen, next.
Have you seen the people have photo? Did y'all have a photo booth?
I don't think we did. I'm thinking about it because you got to remember our entire wedding was in the botanical garden.
Right.
The wedding reception was in the same place. All they had to do was just chill.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think we did. Now think about it. Wasn't important to us. Our photos were the most important thing.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're going to have a photo booth so that people can commemorate. I can't speak today. So the people can commemorate. Yeah, that. We're going to have all of that. It's going to be a really good time. It's going to be like a really fun day. It's not going to be long. We're going to just give y'all enough to have a good time. And y'all can go about your business. So why you put your head down?
Y'all gonna get what y'all get, and then we gonna go about our business. Goodbye.
That's what y'all gonna get. Like it's not gonna be like. I think we said the wedding's gonna start at like 2:30, and we're gonna be done. We're gonna be done by like 6:30, 7 o'clock, if that. Like done with wedding and reception.
All right, it is what it is, fam.
Right. So don't bring. Just be quiet. It's RSVP only wedding.
Give us that 5-star review on iTunes. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube, and share this with somebody who really needs it. Bring it to you each and every single Thursday. Until then, keep living your version of the good life, and we will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.